Well, welcome back, blade lovers. We've got I feel, special review today. A knife that became available recently from Artisan Cutlery, and it is a budget version of a much more expensive knife that they had produced in titanium and high-end materials, either M390, S35VN, but this budgety version of the Great White is coming in at about 70 bucks from White Mountain Knives, less 10% off if you use my discount code Old Sword. Don't forget that. And it is still, even at that price point, in AR RPM 9, a proprietary steel created by Artisan Cutlery. Some people have compared it to a 9CR and maybe Sandvik, in that area. Maybe, I don't know what to compare it to. I think if you look it up in knife steel compositions, and maybe we'll do that before we finish, you'll get some of the qualities and the composition on it. Pardon me, I oiled it a little bit, or it came through like that. It's one of those fingerprint magnet finishes that attracts everything, so you get some oils and fingerprints on there. It's a beautiful belt satin, I would call it, finish. It is designed by Michal Gavic, I want to say Gavco. His company is called Gavco, the design company, and possibly producer of knives as well. I am not 100% sure, but I do have another Gavco knife that I'll bring out in a little bit that we can compare this to. So let's take a look at the Great White. It is a very unusual design in that it's a combo of a recurve grind and a straight grind in two levels of the edge, with a really interesting swedge there. He does an interesting design on his knives. Now, fitting for the name Great White, which option did I choose? White, G10, and the bright satin finish blade. I figure why not? It's a Great White, so let's keep it all in that tone, shall we say. But there are a number of other iterations of this knife that I'll show you on my phone from White Mountain Knives. You can see that it's got a G10 backspacer. It's got a deep carry clip, almost completely deep carry, and it does not switch because they used flat-headed screws and they inletted the clip into the G10 handle. Very interesting teardrop style opening hole, and that's your only method of opening it. Very easily thumb flicked open or middle finger flicked open. No problem whatsoever. When it's open, we have a very generous choil that allows you to choke right up to work with this knife. And I don't know whether you're going to consider it an EDC or not. You've got that secondary point there, very much in the realm of it being a Tanto, but we don't know what to call this one. It's part Warncliffe, part drop point, part modified Tanto, perhaps. Stretch that any way you like. But let's start, of course, as we always do, with some measurements. 8.5-inch overall knife, not a small knife. And the blade is stretching out there to 3 7/8. We'll call that like a 3.85. I know I like to be specific. Got a cutting edge that's shorter because of the choil, just a little over 3 1/4, maybe 3 3/8. And very thin across the handle, 0.42. Those of you that like a slim, easily carried knife, you got it with this. How about blade stock? 3.2 millimeters. Let's try that one more time. I'm not sure I got a good grip on it. 3.2, yes. And it is a light knife. We're going to see how light. Here we go. How about call it 3.5 ounces, 3.5 ounces for an 8.5 inch overall knife. Wow. Yes, it is light, it is slim, it's got some decent materials. There's a nice grain in the white G10. It's kind of hard to see simply because got a lot of light going on. In fact, I changed backgrounds and got rid of my black background for this one because that's going to overexpose and you're going to get, you won't see any detail in this knife at all if I do that. They did, however, give it a black clip, which is an interesting contrast and also allows it to be a little quieter when you're carrying it in the pocket, so to speak. Hidden liners, so you're not going to see those liners at all. And they are weight relieved. Get that light on. Look at that. Those holes pop right out against that white G10 on one side. So that brings it down to that 3.5 ounces. And of course that slim handle and that relatively thin blade stock does the rest. Got a relatively high grind there. Comes through, I would say, reasonably sharp with a non-aggressive, more smooth shaving sharp edge. Got the Artisan logo there. Got Gavco's insignia there. Let's see if we can get rid of some of the oil. Got a serial number even, and the steel, and there is the Gavco knives name. What do we got here? Oh yeah, made in China. And the setup is really nice. You've got a really nice ramp for your thumb there. If you choke up, you can still use that ramp. Black pivots. And let's take a look at a few of the other color options you've got. Here's the White Mountain Knives sight. We've got a black with satin. We've got a white with black blade. That's kind of cool, sort of a tuxedo thing. We've got the one I purchased. And then we get into the expensive realm here. Yeah, $544 for Damascus. And $644 for titanium Damascus handle, S35VN Tanto blade. I don't know. That's well out of my realm. And then we've got for $200 just your straight up titanium handle with S35VN blade. So I did say I had another Gavco design blade. Here is the BRS Blade Runners Thresher XL. And you'll notice the scalloping on the top of that blade. If I turn this upside down, we almost get a hint of what's going on with the edge on the great white. Isn't that interesting? This one's titanium S35VN, and it is a frame lock, not particularly drop shutting. I've been working on trying to get those pivots loosened. They're a bit of a pain. Titanium clip on that guy. and a significantly heavier knife, just thicker and more robust all the way around. That doesn't make this a wimpy knife, but I wouldn't call it a heavy-duty cutter, heavy-duty EDC. It's a lightweight knife that will definitely cut and slash, and it will thrust for sure, and it will take care of some of your lightweight EDC chores. If we bring out the Griptilian, we can see that we've got a larger knife here than the Griptilian. By a good inch. If we bring out the good old Rat 1, we're right in the Rat 1 territory, it appears. Yep, it's pretty much the same length overall. Let's take another look around. White G10 handle, white G10 backspacer. And a lot of you guys are going to be concerned that this white G10 is going to stain, and with heavy use it probably will. I find everything cleans up pretty well with acetone, however. But it's also a very good candidate if you want to dye it. Make it any color you want. Nasty, nasty scalloped edge, kind of like a bat's wing. Kind of reminds me of the edge they have on that Max Ace Red Queen, is it? It's got a triple scallop on the edge there. But you got a good straight cutting edge on the front part here, and you've got a very defined tip because of that clip. We got a good amount of meat left, even with the thinner blade stock and those high grinds. I mean, there's your plunge, kind of runs all the way across there. Very interesting. Not your typical plunge grind, but they had to leave room here for the opening hole. And it's a very smooth drop shut action once you get past that detent. Right there it sticks a little bit. So there's your ball bearing detent on the liner hitting the blade until we get to that point, and then it just drops. So as you probably saw in my video that preceded this on Instagram and on my YouTube channel, it's very nice action, very fidgety, and liner's on the thin side, but I don't think you're going to get it to fail. We've got a pretty good lockup here. Got a darn good lockup of, I would say, it's coming up to like 50% or better. But, I mean, that's fine. How much wear you're going to get, I don't know. As we all know, the liners will kind of follow across as you get a little bit of wear over time. That liner insets nicely into the cutout in the handle there. And we've got some very nice centering and a pretty good handle to blade ratio. I mean, this blade's coming very close to 4 inches in an 8.5 inch knife. That's pretty incredible in itself. All right, so let me know what you think. This is, again, the Gavco designed Artisan Cutlery Great White in the budget configuration. Check it out and maybe you will like it. But don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. We'll be back with you soon.